I will start recording. I will need to set some things here. Visualizar. So I hope today's masterclass is very, very good for you, very enlightening, if I can say that, because we are going to talk about that. I don't see so many people talking about it, about how the Portuguese swallow sounds. Of course, if you are learning Portuguese and you are dealing with it, you're going to say, "Oh, this is my challenge. This is what I've been struggling." But in real life, and for example, when I was learning how to teach, no one was telling me, "Oh, you need to focus on this," because usually they need to learn more and spend more time with listening exercises because this tends to be an issue. So let me share the screen. And I'm going to share in a way that you can see my face, but at the same time, everything else. Mm, let's see. Apresentar, presentation. Okay, do you see this well? Big enough or not?
Yeah, it's okay at that level. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, let me review here. I know what's going on. In the beginning of Zoom meeting, we need to always check this before. Really big, but I want me to be small, but not that small, because when we are going to talk about the sounds that change, I want me to be a little bit bigger so you can see my lips. So I think now is way better, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's better.
muito bem. Let me admit that there are other people here. Yes, muito bem. Então, welcome, bem-vindos, bem-vindos a todos. Welcome everyone. I'm very glad to be here with you. And right now I was looking at the presentation, but the camera is here. Yes, it's better if you turn off your microphones. This is work like this, and I have the information here. Today we are going to see the issue with the Portuguese. And if you are a total beginner, you may feel overwhelmed sometimes, but it's actually very useful for you because right in the beginning, you will notice that you learn something, even if it's a basic sentence, like what's your name, where are you from? But when you try to use it in real life, you'll notice that it's really different. And if you are intermediate and advanced, but you still can't understand the Portuguese, although you actually know the language, for example, you don't understand something that they say, and then you ask them, "Oh, can you repeat that? Can you say it slowly?" And they do that, or they sometimes switch to English, and then you realize, "Oh, but that's something that I know. I know that I know. I remember that from classes. I've been using that as well. But why did you didn't understand when that person said that very basic sentence in Portuguese?" And today I want you to be very brave, courageous, corajoso, because if you have been learning Portuguese and you have been doing things in a certain way, and those things are not working, maybe you need to do something different. And sometimes doing something different is not that easy because it's you will need to change something, and you need to be brave to, for example, sometimes it's just easier in life to, okay, this is too difficult, I will give up. No, no, it's too difficult. It's impossible to learn Portuguese. It's not. No, no. I will do something else instead. Instead of facing the reality, which is how the Portuguese actually pronounce things, and actually try to find a way to really understand them. So be open-minded to what I'm going to tell you today. And if you can't understand at first, it's okay. When we start learning something, in the beginning is always like this. So don't be like this woman covering her ears. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. So it's a matter of mindset. So I know that some of you are frustrated because, well, you think that you tried everything without seeing results. And I understand that if you read Portuguese, it's kind of fine. Even if you don't understand 100%, you can get by, you can understand most of it, and you see progress. Grammar is not the easiest thing, I know, but you know what to do. You look for explanations, you know dictionaries, you can search on Google for grammar explanation about Portuguese, so you know what to do. And the pronunciation is fine, although you're not sure about how to pronounce certain things. You actually mispronounce some things, but you notice that the Portuguese understand you a lot of times when you pronounce it Portuguese. But when they reply back, chapéu. Chapéu means hat. And this is what we say in Portuguese when something was about to happen, and then poof, or just didn't happen. Chapéu, hat. It doesn't make really sense, but it's what we say. Nothing happens. Caput. So when the Portuguese open their mouths, you can't understand a word of what they're saying. And I understand that this is quite frustrating. So if you, during this masterclass, you have questions, if you want to express your feelings because you are frustrated, because you wanted to talk with your family, if you have Portuguese relatives, you can express your comments, your questions, your thoughts and feelings in, of course, a respectful way in the comments. And in the end of the masterclass, I will read all of them and answer your questions. So don't worry. So here we have 4 things very important when it comes to learn a language, including Portuguese. And we have different Lego here, Lego, as we pronounce in Portuguese. And you see that we have reading and writing, grammar and vocabulary, speaking, listening, but they are not all in the same level. So usually what happens with people is your reading and writing is quite good. Your grammar and vocabulary is not that good. Speaking, it's complicated, and then listen, just uh, basically you can't understand anything. It's extremely difficult. And for example, I've been helping a lot of people to pass the A2 exam. It's called SIPO. Is the one that the government requires for people to apply for the nationality. And even if my student says, "Oh, it wasn't that easy. It wasn't that difficult," they always say, "Okay, it wasn't that difficult, but listening was tricky. Listening was difficult." And of course, those students that find everything very difficult, they also say, especially listening. And it comes to something that can be quite obvious, But what is obvious needs to be said because we are used to something. And when we are used to something, we still keep doing those things, although we don't see results and we don't know why. It's autopilot. So in most classes, most methods, you focus more on what? Do you think that the time that you spend with the teacher or textbook, the time is spent how? Doing what kind of activities? Listening activities, speaking, grammar and vocabulary, reading and writing. When I was learning English at school, it was pretty much what? Reading and writing. That's why we have a textbook in paper, not in any other kind of format. So basically, what most people do when they learn a language and they want to learn European Portuguese is do these two things. And if you practice more reading, writing, grammar, and vocabulary, of course, your reading, writing, grammar, and vocabulary will be better than the others. I think this makes completely sense. Okay? All of this is important, and reading is very, very important. Writing, yes. Grammar, yes. You need to understand how it works. Things need to make sense for you. You need to know the words. But you can't just forget about listening. All right? And as I wrote here, if you can't understand what people are saying, the rest isn't worth much and communication goes down the drain. Why? Good. You know the grammar. You have been learning grammar. You have been consistent. You have been attending classes. You have been spending money, time, energy, doing all this, right? You really committed. You want to speak Portuguese and have a conversation with the Portuguese, right? Let's say that you speak perfectly, but when they reply back to you, when the Portuguese speak, you don't understand. So how are you going to communicate, have a conversation with someone in Portuguese if you don't understand what they're saying? Again, you know the grammar, you know the vocabulary, but when you listen, you can spot the words and the grammar because one thing is what is written down and other thing is what people say. And you need to be able to recognize what you have been learning in sounds because people are speaking in sounds. And you'll see that written Portuguese is not the same as spoken Portuguese. So you have been investing time, money, energy. I would say patience because we also can run out of patience and then we get frustrated and stressed and confused. And if you are training and practicing grammar and vocabulary and you are reading, you know what to do to learn grammar, to learn vocabulary. And you think, okay, let's do more of it. But when it comes to listen and understanding, what most of my students that came to me, they say, I just don't know what to do, what I'm supposed to do. Doing more exercises, more drills, learn more grammar, learn more vocabulary. Okay, but that will build something else, not the listening skill. Of course, if you want to understand what they are saying, you need to know the words and how they make sense. If I tell you a word in Portuguese and and let's say that you understand each sound, but you just don't know what they mean, what it means, because we give meaning to the sounds, we give meaning to certain symbols, the written language. So I know that you have been feeling this way and you don't know what to do. So if you can have a conversation, then how are you going to connect deeply if you have Portuguese friends Portuguese family. You can't order something. You can go to a store and talk to the waiter or the cashier. Because, okay, I am going to say something. Let's say that they understand, but when they speak, I don't. And if you don't do something different, then nothing will change. If nothing change, nothing changes. Nothing changes. So we need to do actually something different. So today we are going to talk about this. I'm going to show you the missing pieces in this Lego, the listening missing pieces. Why do we eat or swallow sounds or letters? I prefer to say eat. It's funny, eat. Then I prefer eat than swallow. You'll see here what I call mountain and valley, up and down, high and low. So you can hear the sounds. They are not well pronounced, but are there. And also for you to learn how the sounds disappear, which sounds disappear, when. Because although for you it sounds and seems to be absolutely random, just like there's a tongue twist I like very much. It is percebeste? Se não percebeste, fins que percebeste, para perceber que tu percebeste, percebeste? It's like and sometimes Portuguese sounds like beatboxing, even for me, a native speaker. So you'll see that. So what I just said, and it's written here, eating sounds that vanish. And I will teach you a listening technique so you can start using and training your ear.
Right.
And why am I doing this? I've been teaching Portuguese for 10 years, like a regular class, online and in person. Now I just teach Portuguese online. And I noticed that this is a common issue for everyone. Everyone. It doesn't matter the nationality. And if you are English speakers and you think that Spanish speakers have a huge advantage because Spanish is similar to Portuguese, let me tell you, when it comes about listening and understanding the Portuguese, they don't have the advantage. The advantage they have is that there are similar words, similar grammar, but when they listen the Portuguese, they can't recognize the sounds, the similar words, the similar grammar. So it's also very difficult for Spanish speakers. And even my friends, we have a group of friends, me and my husband, and this group of friends has a lot of foreigners, most of them English speakers, and some Portuguese and Brazilians and Angolan people there in our group of friends. I'm not their teacher, but sometimes I like to ask them, how is your Portuguese? Or how is your life here? Some of them live in Lisbon, others in Sintra, which is not, if you don't know where it is, it's not that far. And they always say the same. I can't understand when the Portuguese speak. And this photo, we were in a sushi restaurant. This right side, right here, was a friend of mine from Norway. He was here with his family. Of course, I'm not showing his face because of privacy. But we were here, and our conversations are usually in English. And sometimes, because I'm a Portuguese teacher, I try to ask, oh, how was your Portuguese? Or I try to say something in Portuguese to help them out. And they're always like, they're not comfortable. I say something and they also struggle to understand. Okay, so here you see me with pastel de nata, very happy. But English was also a nightmare for me because this is something that English has in common with Portuguese. So, for example, this sentence, I am going to the store. I'm going to the store. or what are you going to do? What you gonna do? You see? It's different as well. And besides this, English was very difficult for me because I was the worst student in class and I didn't feel welcome. Everyone was better than me, and our teacher didn't like me because I was some issues with English, but everyone was great. So I didn't have a good experience in with English at school. It was just a subject, something that I need to pass, and something for that I associated with American movies. Movies, that's all. It's not part of my life. At that time, it wasn't part of my life. But eventually, I overcome the challenge of English and I even learned Spanish. This is me in Sevilla. And on the left, I'm struggling with the heat, even though it's night, because it was like 35, almost 40 degrees. And let me tell you, once you start understanding the foreigners and you see results and you have this, oh, I got it, I understood it, you will feel very motivated to keep going one step at a time. As I told you before, I prepared a lot of students to pass the SIP exam. And this is one of the examples of one of my students. Podemos alcançar o impossível junto. Should be juntos. It's okay. We can achieve the impossible together. Can see the happiness. That's right, isso mesmo. Estou muito feliz. I'm very happy. Sem ti não poderia ter passado. Without you, I wouldn't have passed. Não teria passado. And I said, estou muito orgulhosa de ti. Ter uma professora é importante, mas tu também te dedicaste muito. Fizemos bom trabalho juntas. I'm very proud of you. Having a teacher is important, but you also dedicate yourself. Dedicaste-te muito, a lot, very much. We did a good work, good job together. And as I said before, the most difficult part of this exam is the listening part. I don't know if you already tried to take the exam, if you pass or not, or if you talked about with someone about the simple exam. Listening is the struggle, the main struggle.
Hi,
And,
I'm
and here is one of my students telling a little bit about her experience and how it was for her.
Louisa Wong. I want to thank Sara Bento, who's my Portuguese teacher, for helping me to pass my A2 certification. A very important step for me in order for me to get my nationality. I have been resident of Portugal for many years, and I love Portugal. Its culture, its people, its food, its everything about Portugal. And a year ago, before November of 2024, I started learning Portuguese. And the first 6 months, it was a lot of struggle. And I met Sara in April of 2024. And for the next 6 months, she has very structured lessons for me. She made it fun. It's daunting, but she made it fun. She was patient. I was able to follow her. And every day I have 1 hour online lesson with her. And I wanted to thank her for have confidence in me. And I didn't know if I was going to pass, but I did. Thank you.
You see how happy she is passing the exam. So you see, it's possible. Even if it looks very difficult to do it. If you notice, she studied hard and she took a lot of classes in a short period of time. That's why she had the results in a short period of time. So I'm not telling you that it's kind of a miracle. And like in the slide before, I told her, oh, I'm very happy for you. This was a teamwork because I can teach you, I can be the best teacher ever, I can do it perfectly. But if you don't do what you should do, your part, as we say in Portuguese, I can't put the things inside your head. Não consigo pôr as coisas dentro da tua cabeça. So, and also you see, age is not an excuse. And she passed the exam. So, are you ready to hear things in Portuguese? Ready? Prontos? Next, you'll see pretty much interesting things. And of course, you have questions. And if you have questions, leave it in the chat. I will check your questions later.
No, it has nothing to do with sweet and sour. I mean, sweet, salt and pepper.
I can
Shrimp.
hear.
What does it taste like?
If you can turn your mics off, it will be better, okay? Later you can turn them on. Thank you. So why do we eat sounds, letters? Well, we can say letters, but when we write Portuguese following the spelling rules, we don't do it. If we want to write grammatically and correctly based on spelling rules, we don't cut anything. We write everything. So what we're going to do when we speak is it sounds, because speaking is about sounds, not about written letters, the symbols. And writing is different from speaking. What happens is that speaking, we could say it's the main language in a certain way, okay? Because what writing is trying to do is to represent what we speak. So first we have speaking, and then the writing, we have the writing. We are trying to represent speaking. And sometimes it will be in one way for a language with one logic, but for other language, another way, because people are going to decide these spelling rules. It's much more easier to decide spelling rules and make a group of people, a nation, to write in a certain way than to make them speak in a certain way. Okay? Spoken language is very much alive and kind of independent. And the Portuguese sounds like more closed. So, for example, not all the accents in English, but for example, the stereotype of American accent is the one that does this and opens a lot of the mouth. So Brazilians, Spanish, and Americans, they tend to open a lot of the mouth when they speak. But the Portuguese is exactly the opposite. We don't roar, because when Americans speak, this is how it sounds to us. Don't be offended, just a way of putting things. There's no problem with sounding like roar, or like, well, my mom says that Americans seem like they're speaking and eating at the same time. But it's just a perspective, a way to try to understand the other, what it's foreigner. But the Portuguese, they do like this, well, my closed. They don't open, they don't move a lot. So it's a muscle exercise that you need to do to close more your mouth in some specific sounds. So the main reason why most people don't understand a word, the word understand is not there, of what Portuguese say is because Portuguese, specifically European Portuguese, is a stress time language. And what does that mean? It means that we have high syllabes and low syllabes. In a word, we only have one high syllable and the others are going to be low. And when I say low, I mean low. And when I say high, I mean high. High and low. The mount and the valley. That's why I have this image here, this drawing, este desenho. The low syllables are compressed because they are low, they are weak, and we cut them. which doesn't sound nice, or we reduce them to maintain the rhythm. Because when we are time stressed, when we stress the time, we are going to give more importance, more stress, more highlight to the highest syllable, to the part of the word that we are really going to open our mouth and pronounce. The others more like this. So let me give you an example. This is a very good example because this word has a lot of low sounds. So if I speak with my accent, European Portuguese, I would say perfeito. Perfeito. Do you think I open my mouth? Can you see? I hope you can see my mouth clearly. Or I can also change here. And I can open, can I? No, I think I can't change. Let me do this way. Let me do this way. Perfeito. Perfeito. And now if I change to Brazilian accent, perfeito. Perfeito. The R could be D or depends. Perfeito. Perfeito. Can you tell that I opened? So the first vowel, not in European Portuguese is pu. Pu. Perfeito. Pu. But in Brazilian Portuguese, pé. Pu, pé. Pu, closed. Pé, opened. Perfeito. Perfeito. And the last one, tu. Perfeito, closed, not opened. Open will be o. So if in the beginning is closed and in the end is closed as well, the one in the middle is the open one, is the highest. Perfeito, 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 perfeito. So the first vowel, this I just don't pronounce it because the sound of the consonant, the P before, the P on the left, it's P. The sound of the first letter is P. And the sound of the vowel is So, P plus P. No change at all. So, if you think that you need to pronounce this you don't. Just ignore it. We swallow it. And we swallow because the highest part of the word is this one, fei. Fei, a, opened, a. Perfeito, perfeito. Okay? Versus perfeito, perfeito, which is open. So once you know this, maybe you should manage your expectations, because if you have been learning for a while, or let's say you just started, but you are used to learn things and you are used to use a textbook for something that you learn, you are used to learn with something written down, you need to manage your expectations, because what you are listening is not what you are actually seeing written down. So we have here a couple of words, and I will show you how the rule applies for the mount and the valley. The mount and the valley. Low, high, and low. So I will pronounce these words, and I just want you to listen, and then I will explain what's going on here. So, casaco. Paz. País. divertido, independentemente, casaco, paz, país, divertido, independentemente. And now here we see the highest part of the word. So for casaco is the one in the middle. Casaco, casaco, casaco. Divertido, 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 divertido. And here, these two words are very common, very frequent, and it's normal if we say país when we want to say paz, and the other way around. So, paz, the highest part of the word is here in the A. Paz, paz. But país, no, is here E. País, país. And just this, if it's high, where it's high and where it's low makes the difference, because we have two very different words with two very different meanings. This one, the first, país, means parents, and país, country. Country. And independentemente, mente, independentemente, independentemente. This one is the highest. And you can see a pattern here. We have different kind of words, except for these two, país and país, where the highest part is not a syllable itself, because the whole word it's a syllable, but a specific sound, a specific vowel in the word. But for these others, you can see that the highest syllable is the penultimate syllable. And this is the rule. It doesn't happen with every single word, but usually, that's why it's the rule. This is how it happens. Casaco, divertido, independentemente. So the penultimate syllable is the highest. So if you see the word written down, and you know that the rule is the highest is the penultimate syllable, now you can think, I think this is the one that they are going to pronounce. I can expect to hear this part of the word clearly, but not the others. Okay, and this makes all the difference. Now let's see other words for you to practice. I gave you some examples. Now let's read these words, but first try to read them yourselves just before me. Okay, just a couple of seconds to look at these words and think, how should I say this? How should I pronounce? How do the Portuguese pronounce these words? Do I recognize? Because we need to match the sound and the written language. Just a little bit to have a look. And I'm going to drink a little bit of água, because that's always also needed. Ok? Então, comportamento, comportamento. Tomate, tomate. Chinelos, chinelos. CH it has the sound sh, sh. Chinelos. Falamos, Falamos. It's a low but it is higher than the other syllables. Falamos, not falamos. Falamos also exists, but it's a different tense. Falamos, falamos. Here is falamos. Cortina, cortina. Sofisticado, sofisticado. And the last one, preocupado, preocupado. Now, let's check. The mountain, the highest part. Comportamento, tomate, chinelos, falamos, cortina, sofisticado, preocupado. And all these words follow pattern. Which pattern? The penultimate syllable is the highest. Mentu, mate, nelush, lamush, tina, cadu, padu. Okay, so this is the highest. We just talked about the mountain, and now let's see the valley, because if the valley, the low parts of the word are low, these are the ones that we are going to eat. Like I eat pastel de nata, you saw in the previous photo. So let's see this four words. Have a look. Let's see the first one. This is this is the first thing that you learn when you learn Portuguese, and it's very, of course, very frequent. If I pronounce it clearly, I would say obrigado. Obrigado. I don't know how trained your ear is, but you may not hear the last U. We write an O, but the sound is not O, it's U. U. Obrigado. U. And sometimes it's not that clear that the U is there. Sorry. Yeah, yes, okay. U is there. Obrigado. And in real life, when we are in a hurry, stressed, everything, we can just don't pronounce the O, the first vowel here, or just it's so soft that we can't tell that it's there. Obrigado. 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 It's almost like we put our mouth in the correct way to pronounce the sound O, but instead of pronouncing sound O, we change right away to the next sound. Obrigado. 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 And the second, diferente. Diferente. So diferente, this f, t, this is just like the previous word, perfeito. We're going to eat the this sound. It's so weak. You can think about like hill sick animal in the forest or in the jungle. Probably this animal that is sick and it has some problem. A predator is going to eat this animal because it's so weak. So we're going to eat the We're not going to pronounce just the consonant. So diferente. This here in the middle, ren, is a nasal sound. We don't change it. Still needs to stay there. It's a nasal sound and is the highest syllable. Diferente. And this that I have in gray is things that we may swallow, may eat or not. We may pronounce even faster or not. And sometimes that's what happens. When we want to speak really, really fast, of course, it's not absolutely every single native speaker, but for you to know, it's a frequent option because we have options. We have the menu and we can choose what vowel we are going to eat. Some people say de frente, de frente, de frente, instead of diferente, de, de, de frente, de frente, de frente, versus diferente, different. All right? And the next word, então, and it's very frequent because it's one of the equivalents for what's up, so, what's up and so, então, what's up? And of course we can say então, but sometimes we just cut the first syllable, so it's not just a sound, it's not just a letter, it's one syllable. And then we say tão, tão. And we can even change to atão, atão. Okay? It's normal and sounds good if we say então, pronouncing everything correctly. It sounds normal if we say tão and atão. So we have options. You can choose what you want to say. Of course, the more you cut, the more informal you're gonna be. But it's important for you to know that this exists and the Portuguese will speak this way. It's different from the here in different. This that we swallow, that we eat is not optional because we are not going to say diferente. This is not European Portuguese. It's not diferente, it's different. Different. And last one, also very frequent, of course, até já. Até já. Até já. It's normal if I pronounce everything, até já, and I can do it fast. Até já, até já, até já. I don't know if you can hear the first sound, the it's there, but it's low. Até já, até já. But it's also possible that I just don't pronounce it at all. Até já, até já, até já. So sometimes the sounds are there, but they are low. And if your ear is not trained, you won't listen and you won't understand. Sometimes it's not there. It's really not there. So you see, what's the pattern here? Vowels. We eat vowels. Let me check our time because I have a lot of things to that I would like to show you. But of course, we need to sleep tonight, right? So putting letters together. Pay attention to the letters in bold. And I'm going to pronounce it to you slow. Okay? O que era aquilo? Which means, what is that? What was that? See something weird? What was that? O que era aquilo? So the words that you see in bold are the ones that we are going to eat. Because we have que, so this we eat, que we eat again. And this era aquilo. We have two low A's. So what's going to happen is that we're going to put them together. And we have two then it becomes an a. Opened a. So we don't say o que era aquilo, because it sounds robotic. To sound natural with a good flow and rhythm, we're going to eat. we are not going to pronounce what I just told you. So, o que era aquilo? O que era aquilo? O que era aquilo? And you may think, look at this and think, oh, what is that? How can a teacher write something like that? Because I'm trying to represent what we are actually saying. This is one version, but another version is o que era aquilo? O que era aquilo? We just add an E here. E. So two versions. If you want to start speaking like this, you can use the one that you want. It doesn't matter. In real life, the two exist. Okay? O que era aquilo? O que era aquilo? And for us, Portuguese, it sounds just normal. Okay? I know that you may don't like it because it makes things more complicated for you. As I said, that photo that I showed you before with the lady like this. Okay? Don't be like the lady like this. And once you start listening and practicing this way, your ears start getting used to it. Okay? Don't fight with language because each language has its own things. If you want to learn it, you need to learn the language. So this is part of the language. And it's going to be fine, I promise you. And sometimes we also change the sounds when we put together with some specific sounds. So in this case, we have the sound S. So pay attention with this word, todos. Todos. If you ask me how to say all or how to say every something, like every day, like this expression, todos os dias, every day. If you just ask me the word every or all, I could say, oh, the word is todos. And you hear this sh, todos, because an S in the end of a word or in the end of a syllable is sh. But when we speak all together. And if it's everything together, and the next sound, it's a vowel, then it's not going to be sh. Because accordingly with the pronunciation rules of Portuguese, when the letter S is between vowels, then the sound is z. Z. So, todos os dias. Z. Todos os dias. Todos os dias. So it may sound different from what you were expecting. Todos os dias. Todos os dias. And the same with for the next example. Todas as pessoas. Todas as pessoas. Which means everyone, everybody. All the people. Todas as pessoas. Todas as pessoas. But all together. When we are all together, which is todos juntos. Todos juntos. Todos juntos. Then it goes back to sh. Because next we have a consonant. You see the pattern that if we have an S, like in the two very examples, then the S is actual Z. But when we have a consonant, then it's just normal. There's no change. An S in the end of a word is sh. Right? And let me give you more examples, just for you to train, right? Isso é muito estranho. Isso é muito estranho. That's very weird. Isso é muito estranho. Isso é muito estranho. Isso é muito estranho. The second. De onde és? And this one is very good. De onde és? Where are you from? De onde és? De onde és? De onde és? Se amanhã chover. If tomorrow rains. Chover is just rain, to rain. Se amanhã chover. We are going to combine these vowels and it's going to be se amanhã. Se amanhã chover. Se amanhã. Because like the previous words, diferente, perfeito, this we eat. And senhor doutor. Senhor doutor. This is a way to address the doctor. When you go to the doctor, not feeling well, you say, senhor doutor. It's sir plus doctor. So you address them like this. You address the doctors like this. Senhor doutor. What happens sometimes with this word is this turns into an I. Senhor, si, senhor, senhor. And the last one, que horror. And yes, horror is horror. Horror. If you are terrified, if you are shocked because you saw something very bad happening, and you're like, oh my God, you can say, ai, que horror, meu Deus, não, não, que horror. And the written version of the spoken language will be something like this. Isso é muito estranho. Isso é muito estranho. We're removing the O's. Isso é muito estranho. Isso é muito estranho. De onde és? De onde és? Or donde és? Both are just fine. Se amanhã chover. You see, we change the and we say I. Se amanhã chover, or we don't add anything at all. We just cut the and se amanhã. Se amanhã. Senhor doutor. Senhor doutor. And there's for this specific term, that's a specific short version, which is sou doutor. Sou doutor. Sou doutor. Horror. We combine the k sound here with horror. So, horror. Horror. Welcome to European Portuguese. Horror. And the last sentence here, this is one of my favorite ones because it means, are you listening to what I'm saying? And we are talking about understanding the Portuguese and be able to listen to them. So if someone is talking to you, but this person thinks that you're not paying attention or something else, this person can ask, are you listening to what I'm saying? So in Portuguese is, estás a ouvir o que eu estou a dizer? Estás a ouvir o que eu estou a dizer? Estás a ouvir o que eu estou a dizer? Let's see. This, pay attention to the part in bold. This us, we can cut. And then it's just tá. But then tash. But then tash ends with S, and then we have an So the S is between vowels, so za, taza. We are breaking this down. Taza. And after taza, we have ouvir. Ouvir. But this it's a low so we can cut it. Tás a ouvir. Tás a ouvir. Tás a ouvir. So we cut. And this part here. O que é que? O que é que? O que é que? All this is o que é que? O que é que? O que é que? O que é que? Then eu. Eu. We have e, these two together. So can say o que é que eu? Estás a ouvir o que é que eu? We remove the ush or just pronounce sh. Estou a dizer. we can remove the E or not, but when we say very fast, dizer, dizer, dizer. O que é que eu te estou a dizer? Estás a ouvir o que eu te estou a dizer? Estás a ouvir o que eu te estou a dizer? So if I try to write down what I'm actually saying, it will be something like this, which is pretty beautiful. It's a masterpiece. As a native speaker, and I look at this and I'm like, oh, this is something, wow. It looks like a mess for me, but it's actually what we say. So, estás a ouvir, estás a ouvir, estás a ouvir. O que que eu, o que eu te estou a dizer, que eu te estou a dizer. So if you ask someone to, oh, can you say it slow? Can you speak slow? Okay, it helps. But I can do all of this that here, slow. Estás a ouvir o que eu te estou a dizer? This is slow. Estás a ouvir o que eu te estou a dizer? I'm speaking it slow, but I'm eating, I'm cutting, I'm swallowing the sounds still. So you need to learn these patterns and how it works so you can recognize them when the Portuguese speak to you. And the listen technique here is focus on keywords. And for this to work, you need to practice because it's a matter of training you here, practice. Trying to look where are the keywords, the most important words, the essential words in a sentence. They convey the main ideas. And this could be nouns, verbs, adjectives, and you need to think about the context. So probably if we are having a dinner, what are the main words? Words about food, right? So if you listen to something and you're not sure if it was this word or that word, if you are having a dinner and you think that the word was about food, probably was about food, not about something else. If you are having a dinner with, let's say, you have a boyfriend, Portuguese girlfriend, and you're having a dinner with the parents, and you are organizing a very special dinner, do you think that they are going to talk about country or parents? Your boyfriend, girlfriend will talk with you about pais, parents, his parents, for example, or about country. Okay, so focus on the keywords. And this will help you understand the overall message, even if you miss some of the details, because what you want to understand is the main message. This also happens when you are listening to someone speaking in your native language. But it's something that we do so automatically that we don't even notice. But we need to do the same with Portuguese. What do I need to understand? And you'll notice that sometimes it's a cultural thing. Portuguese say a lot of things. They speak a lot. They use a lot of words, but they could just say all of that in a short sentence. Everything is just not that important. So you need to select the information, the words that are important, okay? You don't need to understand absolutely everything every single time that you listen to a Portuguese, all right? You need to understand what you need in that particular situation. And as I said, this is something that native speakers always do and also do. So if you if you only listen to the slow, very well pronounced version of Portuguese, you are actually wasting your time because this very well pronounced Portuguese doesn't exist in real life. It's not real life Portuguese. So you see, if you're still learning just with the slow audio, with slow materials, you still won't understand people, you can't have conversations, you are stuck in the language, you are frustrated, and you eventually will give up on Portuguese. And on Portuguese means give up on meaningful relationships with the Portuguese. Of course, you can have a communication based in English. You can have a friend and you just speak in English with him, but it's not the same thing if you speak in Portuguese. And eventually, if you live in Portugal or you want to live in Portugal, think how your life is going to be if you can't communicate with natives. You go to a grocery store, a place, something, and if you think all the Portuguese speak English, it's not that case. A lot of them do, yes, but in some situations they will say, I don't speak English. So my students have told me they go to certain places, they want to do certain things, and they say, I'm sorry, I don't speak English. So what I want my students to feel is I want them to feel confident, feel comfortable in the Portuguese world. I want them to feel at ease to talk to whoever they want and really connect with the Portuguese. That's why nowadays my main focus as a teacher, regardless the kind of classes, private classes or others, my focus is to help students to understand real life Portuguese. And now I want to bring this knowledge to online, to be accessed to more people easily, people that need it, that need Portuguese in their lives. So I would like to introduce you before I answer your questions. I like to introduce you my baby, which is Understand the Portuguese online course. It's going to be the missing piece it is your missing piece in your Portuguese journey. And it's my baby, and everything that I taught you in this class, it's inside in this course, but much more, it's deep. It goes to every single thing, every single sound, and you'll have a lot of exercises to practice. So say goodbye to what? Wasting your time, energy, money, learning things that you can't use, you can't speak because you can understand. If you can't understand what they are saying, what are you going to say? Nothing. So, but you know the grammar, you know the vocabulary. But if you listen and you understand, then you can use what you have been learning. And you can also say goodbye to frustration and stress and say hi to good conversations with the Portuguese, meaningful ones, family, friends, your crush, your husband, your boyfriend. You can go to stores and talk on the phone, understand what the person is saying. A conversation on the phone is also something that my students say they struggle. And by being able to have a conversation with the Portuguese, then you can connect, have like a meaningful relationship and live your life in Portuguese with the Portuguese, everything Portuguese. So what is inside this course? Here you have why and how the Portuguese eat and swallow words deeply, much more than I just explained in this masterclass. You learn the predictable patterns of the letter reduction and change, a lot of practical examples from everyday life. You have audios, and these audios recorded by natives are not like a studio kind of audio because they are real life audios. And you also learn listening comprehension techniques that you can put into practice to improve your listening skills and train your ear. This photo here on the right are the models that you have. You have start here where I explain how you can use the course. The foundation, I explain to you what is happening with Portuguese. I explain to you why Portuguese is different from written Portuguese, spoken versus written, and why it is so difficult. Okay, very deep. And I like this to be like, let's say we are in a restaurant or at friend's house and we're going to eat. So let's set the table. And in this module, let's set the table is all about this high and low phenomenon, all of this that happens, the exceptions. I show you the rule, but there are a couple of exceptions. And you also have exercises here to practice more. Model 3 and 3.5, I thought, should it be one model? But there are so many things, so many sounds that we swallow and that change. And I wanted to give you a lot of examples and a lot of audios to practice with. So 2 models with it. And then we have the listening techniques, more exercises with the content from the real world, videos, audios, a lot of things. Model 6, how to improve your listening skills. And then we wrap up with model 7, now that you've come so far. And we will wrap up and you'll see the progress that you made. So if you want to really understand the Portuguese, now you may think, okay, is this for me? This is for people that can be intermediate or advanced, but they struggle to understand Portuguese native speakers, even for beginners, if you want to avoid all the frustration and stress that other students have because they didn't learn this in the beginning. If you want, or if you are already prepared to live in Portugal, you need to prepare for the real world. If you have colleagues and you want to understand them in Portuguese, and Portuguese is a word that you use in your job, and anyone preparing for the A2 exam, which is called CIPL, because it's the most complicated thing for most students in my experience, and it's really the missing part. What do you have here in this course? More than 40 video lessons focusing on real life Portuguese. It's a self-paced course, so you can watch anywhere, anytime. It's very good because you can listen over and over again to the explanation, but also to me pronouncing. Besides, you'll have audios for each lesson that requires you to practice the sounds. You can download those audios and you can listen if you are washing your dishes to practice and get used to Portuguese. If you join the course, you will see inside the platform 2 models, the first 2 models, because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed with so many things. If you have been learning for a while, you know that it's very easy to get overwhelmed with so many things that we need to learn. I don't want you to feel that, and that's why for now, just the 2 first models, and in the following weeks, the other models. And for the same reason, short lessons, like 15 minutes, 50, 30 minutes, because that's the maximum, okay? If you want to watch and then practice, watch and do the exercise, or watch twice is also okay. You'll have 1 year access, and as a bonus, this masterclass inside the platform, okay? This is a special launch offer for a limited time. It's the first time that I'm putting this course out there for people who want to learn Portuguese, not just my students 101. I want it to be more accessible for other people all around the world. And the price is this, is not 397, the numbers in Portuguese. Not here, not this, because it's the first time that I'm launching. It's a launch. So o preço vai ser, the price is going to be 297. Okay? You have different ways to pay. PayPal, for example, credit card, and a slip pay. This is the QR code, but I will also send the link in our WhatsApp group. I will send the record of this masterclass and the link for this course. And if you access to the course, you will receive in your email something like this, saying congratulations, and you have your access. You have your email here, and you can log in. After this, what you are going to see is the platform. The platform that I'm using is system.io. So understand the Portuguese is the welcome video. And you can also see something like this in the first, once you are inside the platform. Understand the Portuguese. All right? And questions, perguntas. Perguntas about, questions about the course itself, questions about all of this that I told you about the swallowing words and how we swallow or eat the letters, okay? Any question that you have, you can ask me now. Let me look at you. Any question? Does it
No,
sound weird? Yes?
it was a good explanation of why I struggle to understand it. Um, I suppose the thing is with it is that if you don't know what's coming at you, it's difficult to know what's being shortened.
Is that exactly? Yes. But now you start understanding what is going to be shortened,
Hmm.
right? Let me go back. For example, one of the patterns is the lower sounds. Where is it? Lower, why are they lower? Because there's always one syllable, one part of the word that is higher, and others are lower. Besides this, there are some sounds that are specific low, which are the ones, the vowels. You see, it's always the vowels. Always the vowels. So here we have different examples. In this case, we don't see a pattern between these ones because I wanted to put here different example for different things that happen. But here, diferente, and the other word before, perfeito, independentemente, this uh. So every time you have a consonant and then this we don't pronounce unless it's in the highest part of the word. Okay?
Mhm.
So this is one pattern. And same goes for the a. The a, also low, we cut it. We can eat almost all the low sounds for the vowels, but especially the and the a. And a. And on module 3, I have class, actually more than one class, specifically for each vowel in sentences. So you can see, you have these examples here, but you have more in sentences to see what's happening. For example, another one that's not here is estou a falar. Estou a falar. Estou a falar. Estou a falar. Can you hear the a? Estou a falar in the
Yeah.
middle?
Yeah.
Good. it's a. But if it is estou a aprender, estou a aprender, then it gets estou a aprender, estou a, not estou a aprender, because those A's are combined, like in this example here. Onde está? Ah, sim. Yes. This where is the word one? Ah, yes, here. O que era aquilo? Era aquilo, aquilo. O que era aquilo? A plus a equals a. That's why I wrote this a. Okay? It's not just knowing the explanation. It's getting used to it and train your ear so when you need to understand someone and then speak, you automatically do it. Because of course, when we learn something new, it takes time. And it's like anything else. If I'm very good cooking, I cook very fast because I practice a lot. If I'm starting a new recipe, it's going to be slow, right? So you need to practice a lot, listen a lot. So when you really need to use language in your life, you don't need to. What did he say? What did she say? It was this word. No. What was that word? And it takes some time. So you put the language inside of you and it makes part of you. So one of the most important things that you need to do is also to listen, ouvir. Listen. That's why the audios in the course are downloadable. You can download them. Of course, if you are studying, watching the class, okay, pay attention, be present. But after you do that, you are doing other things. Listen to the audios. Listen to it. Because it's not going to be something that you don't understand because you studied with the video class. But you need to listen a lot. So it gets used. You get used to it. Right? More questions. I don't need to share the screen, maybe. Mais perguntas? More questions about Portuguese or something that it wasn't that clear about this swallowing sounds? Of course, the chat. Let's see. Obrigada, Sara. It was a good class. I'll be in touch soon. I don't have any questions just yet. All right, Harley. Thank you. Obrigada. Michael, muito obrigado também. Okay. So, if you don't have any more questions, because we have been here for some time, maybe we should finish this masterclass. I hope it was very good for you. And if you have any question about the course, we are in the camera is here. Sorry. If you have any question about the course, I'm in the WhatsApp group. You can also send me a message directly, and I will send the record of this masterclass. So during this week, you'll be able to rewatch, and if you have time to, let's say that you have time to listen to someone, to a friend, ask your friend, how do you say this? And now that you know these patterns, these things that is happening in Portuguese, next time that you watch something, TV show, you are with a friend, let's say your Portuguese friends are talking and you are there, you want to sneak in, what are they saying? try to spot what you just learned today and then tell me, Sara, no, it really happens. It really happens. They really do that. They really do that. Something that you can ask is, for example, that example, todos os dias. You can ask your friend, how do you say todos? Todos. How do you say todos os dias? What do you say every day? Then you'll see the Z. Todos os dias. Okay? You can also put this into practice. All right. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a great evening. Uma boa noite. And we can continue our conversation on the group. All right? Ciao, ciao.